welcome back to Team 39th Raps. On today's fight talk, we will be talking about the new Almagestar ASTROEA UNICA. Starting off with ASTROEA UNICA herself. Auto Vanguard Circle. When a trigger unit is soul busted for the cost of her ability, choose one of your units and gets plus 5k. Then Auto Vanguard Circle. When this unit attacks a Vanguard, cost soul blast 3, bind all critical triggers soul busted for this cost, and perform all the following according to the number of crit triggers in your bind zone. So if you have 1 or more, you choose one of your opponent's rear guards and you retire it. 2 or more, this unit gets plus 1 crit until the end of that battle. And 3 or more, this unit gets drive plus 1 until the end of the battle. So, ASTROEA UNICA, the goal is to have 3 crit triggers in your bind zone and to soul blast 3 triggers in general. Soul blasting 3 triggers fulfills the first effect, allowing it to activate 3 times, allowing you to give plus 5k 3 times to any unit of your choosing. Then the second skill, what activates the first skill, if you have 3 or more crit triggers in your bind zone, as once this skill is activated, binds any crit triggers soul blasted, allows you to get triple drive, 2 crit, and 1 retire. This deck is very fast and strong when you fulfill this condition. For the rest of the ride line, we have Almagestar Turandina. So when this unit is rode upon by ASTROEA, choose an Almagestar Short Spada from your soul, the grade 1, and call this and that card to the rearguard circle. So when you ride on ASTROEA UNICA, you automatically get to call these 2, the grade 1 and the grade 2 from your ride line, as 2 free units. Then act rearguard circle once per turn. If you have a Vanguard with Almagestar in its card name, cost counterblast 1, choose 2 trigger units from your drop and put them into your soul, and this unit gets plus 5k until the end of turn. So the second skill is obviously to help you fuel and recycle your triggers for Unica's skill, allowing you to put 2 triggers from your drop into your soul and giving Turan a little bit more power. For the grade 1, we have Short Sparda. So auto, when rode upon by Almagestar Turandina, soul charge 2, and if a crit trigger is soul charge, draw a card. I haven't had much luck with this skill, but if you do manage to get it off, you are plussing 1 on a draw. Then act rearguard circle once per turn. When your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, cost bind 1 trigger unit from your soul, and this unit gets power plus 10k until the end of turn. I found this to be very useful, as since when you call her out, you can use this skill. So you have 4 triggers in your soul and 1 of them is a crit. You can bind that crit automatically, and this will get plus 10k, and then you can soul blast 3 for the other 5ks. 10k in general is more than the 5k that it will give, so sometimes that trade-off is a little bit better. And for the grade 0, the ride line, we have Almagestar Pipisimuki. Auto, when rode upon, if you went second, draw a card. For the other supporting cards that Unica gets from set 9, we have Rolnik Cerbis. This is similar to Turan, where rearguard circle, act once per turn. If you have Vanguard with Almagestar in its card name, cost counterblast 1, choose 2 trigger units from your drop and put them into your soul, and this unit gets plus 5k power. A very important piece of support, Kid's Peak. Kid's Peak allows you to, when placed, and if you have Vanguard with Almagestar in its card name, choose 2 triggers from your drop and put them to your soul. But then the second still continuous, so during your turn and your opponent's turn, if you have a crit trigger in your bind zone, this unit gets power plus 5k and shield plus 5k. This is obviously really good, as it allows it to be a 10k shield and a 15k attacker on both your opponent and your turn. Another strong piece of support, Iram Capricornus, allows you to auto on rearguard circle. When boost, if you have Vanguard with Almagestar in its card name, choose 1 trigger unit from your hand or drop and put it into your soul. If you put a card from your hand, draw a card. So not only does this allow you to filter and recycle your triggers, it also goes 1 for 1 if you put from hand, along with if you are missing the 1 trigger for Unica's skill, you can boost, use this skill first, then activate Unica's skill once you've hit the 3. Finally, we have the very questionable Birakam Manticore. His skill is continuous rearguard circle during your turn. If your bind zone has 2 or more trigger units, this unit gets power plus 10k. While 10k is not a bad card at all, it sometimes feels a little underwhelming to play this card, as it doesn't really help with anything else but being a 20k beater. Moving on to my preliminary list. This is the list I've been running and testing on Cardfight Area for the past few weeks since we received all of Unica's support. Your main cards are obviously the Kerberos, Turang, and Kid's Peak, as they allows you to soul from your drop 2 triggers into Unica's skill. Then Capricorn also alternatively does a similar skill from on hand or drop on boost. These cards, at least Turang, Kits, and Capricorn, are played in almost every list we've seen so far, and are really necessary to help continue fueling Unica's skill, as it will not activate if you do not use it every turn. We also have 3 Queen Sweep. Queen Sweep is a very insanely good card. On Persona Ride, allows you to put 3 of you or your opponent's rear guards into their soul, and then he will gain plus 5k for each put, allowing it to be 25k, and then since you Persona Rode, 35k, and getting past resist and cards that cannot be retired. Gun is back. Gun is a very good card. Not only does he give you 1 soul charge, but as Unica sometimes has a lot of excess soul, he allows you to convert that excess soul by soul blasting 3 to draw a card. In some plays, you can rush early using Gungundam and a lot of soul charge to allow you to gain a bit of hand and deal a bit of damage in the very early game. Of course, for triggers, we're playing 4 heal, 8 crit, which is required, 1 OT, and 3 front. The front can become draws. I have seen both played. The reason I play fronts is that with Unica I found I'd rather not have the game elongate, and I'd rather go for a kill as soon as I get to grade 3 and then the next turn after. For consideration, of course, some people play the crit trigger as a starter. I do not feel this is necessary, as long as you mulligan into 1 to 2 crits, you should be okay. However, as this deck is so reliant on crit triggers, you will have unfortunate games where you just do not see crit triggers, and you will likely not win those games. Another option is Inhale Pit. Inhale Pit is a grade 1 card that's Soul Blast 1. Inhale Pit is another card that says Soul Blast 1, a grade 1 or higher, to soul charge 2 grade 0s from your drop zone. What this does is this helps you get rid of unnecessary cards in your soul that aren't triggers, and allows you to add 2 triggers to your soul. I personally do not play this card, as Gungundam serves as my free draw, and also I include so many of Unica's choose 2 triggers from your drop support that it is not necessary to play Inhale Pit. Queen Sweep, of course, as I explained, is a very good card and is also very reliant on Persona, which is why I run it at 3. However, some decks I've seen do run it at 4. I would imply cutting a 1 Kerberos. And finally, as I said, draws for front triggers, player preference, whichever you feel is better after you've tested this deck. Well, thank you for tuning in to Team 39th Rhapsody. I hope this list helps fuel your investigation into how you will build Unica in the future. And if you like this video, please remember to leave a like and subscribe, as it really helps us out. See you later.